video.
Hi guys, there's my baby girl. Okay, so I never went over this problem yet. This was on that last assignment with the angle of elevation and angle of depression. And it was parts A, B, C, D. Actually, I don't think I put part B on there. But this will probably be on any upcoming tests. So let me just make sure we didn't have any questions, okay? So the airplane is flying at an altitude of 30,000 feet, right? So that's this measure here. Okay, that's how high the plane is. The distance D, which is this hypotenuse, okay, in feet from an observer on the ground to the plane is a function of the angle of elevation theta. All that means is just that the angle of elevation from this guy looking at the plane is this angle right in here that they're calling theta. Okay? Okay, and this distance is a function of that, meaning depending on this angle, the distance would change, right? As the plane gets closer, the angle is going to get larger, right? And the D, right, or the hypotenuse, the hypotenuse will get smaller, right? Or if it went this way and the plane was further away, it would get longer, right? So D is dependent on this angle, okay? So 30,000 feet is how high the plane is, and this is the angle of elevation. Okay, so part A said, write the equation, which equation given, I can't even see this. Oh, which equation gives D as a function of theta? So basically, if I were to solve for D, right, D of theta, meaning the distance of this depends on the angle, right? D of theta equals what? So if I were to solve for D using this angle, what would I do? So I have it written down right here, right? I drew a little picture. So if I want to write this in terms of D, right? D of theta, okay, so maybe you weren't familiar with that notation, okay? So I want to basically solve for D, but how would I do that? I can use the sine, can I? The sine of this angle is what? Why am I picking sine? Well, because I have an opposite, and then my hypotenuse is D. So the sine of that angle is opposite is 30,000, right? Over hypotenuse is D, right? So then if I solve for D, how would I solve for D? Right? D is in the denominator, right? So you multiply both sides by D, right? Which I already taught you that shortcut, right? Then I would have to divide, so I would get D equals 30,000 over sine theta. Okay, so even if you weren't sure, you can just look, just by looking at these choices here, it's telling you that you're just basically going to solve for D using a trig function, either sine or cosine they have in here. All right, so let me just say that again. I use sine. I have the sine of theta equals 30,000 over D. And then to solve for D, remember the shortcut that this always winds up coming down in the denominator. Okay, so D is equivalent to this, D of theta. So that's why it is A is your answer. 30,000 over sine theta. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions about that. And then part C and D. So part C, when the angle of elevation is 75 degrees, I'm blurry right now. Hold on, let me try to fix this. Wow, there you go. When the angle of elevation is 75 degrees, what is the distance between the observer and the plane to the nearest foot? So what does that mean? When the angle is 75 degrees, they're saying if this is 75 degrees, okay, what is the distance between the observer and the plane? See my little plane? What is D? So I'm going to just use sine. The sine of 75 degrees equals, my opposite side is 30,000 over D, right? And then again, how do I solve for D? It's going to be D equals 30,000 over the sine of 75 degrees. So we got to put that in our calculator. Let me get my calculator right here. First, make sure that you're in degrees in the settings. So I'm going to put, oh my God, did my batteries just die? Oh, no, there we go. I think my batteries are dying, guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a horrible time for my batteries to die. Okay, well, my batteries just died on my calculator. I'm going to have to take care of that. So anyway, I'm just going to put this into my calculator. 30,000 divided by the sine of 75 degrees. And I actually don't even know what that is off the top of my head. But you'd put that in your calculator, and that would be your feet for D. Okay? I wonder if Alexa can do that. Alexa, what's 30,000 divided by the sine of 75 degrees?
The answer to your calculation is 31,058.285412.
31,058? Well, if Alexa does trigonometry, then that's the answer. I'm going to check that and I'll confirm with you. Okay, so part D is for what value of theta, meaning for what value of what angle, right, will the distance between the observer and the plane, right, which is D, be 60,000 feet. So what do I have to do whenever I'm looking for the angles? I'm going to listen to you guys, and you're all going to say inverses, right? Whenever I'm looking for an angle, that's when I need to use my inverses. So they're saying, what angle will the distance of the observer and the plane be 60,000 feet? So at what angle will this D be 60,000? So they're saying, so now we don't know what this is. They're saying, I want D to be 60,000. What angle will give me that? So I'm going to use my inverses, right? I'm going to do the inverse of sine, right, of opposite is 30,000, okay, hypotenuse is 60,000, which is the same thing as saying 1/2, so you can also say 1/2. So it's basically saying what angle, right, will give me a sine of this, a sine of 1/2. And you can put that in your calculator using, right, this button second and then this button here. I happen to know off the top of my head that the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. So it's going to be 30 degrees. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to get some batteries in my calculator. And you guys let me know if you had any questions on this problem. All right. So the first part was just using the ratios for sine. The second part was using sine when you had an angle of 75 degrees. The third part was asking what angle would give you a certain value. So that's when you use your inverses. All right. Have a great day. We'll be moving on tomorrow. Bye.